everyone know why the neighborhood associations became involved in the project. We started back in December when we first learned that the 68 Early Childhood Center was up for possible closure. And we were concerned at that point the impact that that could have on our neighborhoods. But when the board voted to keep the program open, but relocate them, we started looking into the possibility of merging it with the 81st Street School. We feel that if we bring it into the 81st Street School, which is in the Cooper Park neighborhood, that we can strengthen and truly become more of a neighborhood school. Currently, there are about 320 to 340 students enrolled in the 81st Street School, but of those, only about 60 of them come from the neighborhood. If we bring in the 68th Early Childhood Center, which draws from a much higher percentage of the neighborhood, we feel that that could help strengthen the school and make it much more of a true neighborhood school. And that's really the basis of why we're working on this project. So at this time, I'd like to introduce and thank the aldermen for also all of their time that they have been putting in the project. So at this time, Alderman Jim Wool and Michael Murphy will be sharing their thoughts on the possible merger with 81st Street School.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out here tonight. I wanted to thank my colleague, Alderman Michael Murphy, for joining me and helping to facilitate this neighborhood meeting that we think is vitally important to residents who live in the adjoining neighborhoods in or around 81st Street and 68th Street School. I've been on the City Council now here for about 12 years' time. Alderman Murphy is my senior colleague on the council. And I've represented the Cooper Park area, the Cops Park area, and a small portion of the Enderis Park area for those 12 years' time. What I can tell you is that more than any other neighborhood in the district I represent, and I represent a district, just to give you an idea, that essentially runs from about 76 and Center to 124th and Bradley Road. So I go far north. This is the far southern edge. In my time through the district that I represent, I have not seen or heard from residents or neighbors like in the Cooper Park neighborhood who have consistently, when I've gone and knocked on your doors, called and asked for support for a neighborhood concept school. Now, I've had conversations with one of my former teachers who is here and his wife, who have MPS represented, have been in the Milwaukee public school systems, who have talked about the starry days of 81st Street School and how at one point this was one of the stars in the eyes of MPS. I can tell you from an issue of stability to neighborhood, and we're fortunate, Alderman Murphy and I, to represent some of the nicest neighborhoods in the city of Milwaukee that are in or around where we are here tonight. And our interest is really a number of things. First and foremost, from my perspective, it is ensuring that we maintain stability and viability and strength in those neighborhoods. And I, for too long, unfortunately, have had too many residents who have moved into these neighborhoods and said what a gem it is to live here, only to say that when they have children that reach an age to say, if I'm not indebted to a city job, that I don't feel that I have viable options. I'd love to go to a neighborhood school, but ultimately this is going to result in my packing up and leaving for another location, whether it's Wauwatosa, Brookville, or you name it. To me, we also face another issue, and that is those city employees and a number of residents here who don't feel that there are viable options for them in the public school system and wind up either through school choice or through choice to attend, having their children attend private schools, are taking other options. We all know the struggles in our school system over revenues, and one of the best means to continue to draw revenues is to have those parents who live within that municipality choose to utilize the public school system and to feel that they have good, viable options. I know that I believe that a strong neighborhood component is something that is crucial for keeping this neighborhood strong I recall my old days when I grew up off of 53rd and Congress. I was fortunate I was 5 houses down from the Congress Street, and then you had to just cross the corner. And everyone in my neighborhood attended that school. There was a sense of neighborhood then. There was a sense of knowing. And I think that that's something that so many of us want. So really tonight, in tying this in, I'm really looking for 2 things. One is that we certainly have a viable option that has been pushed by neighborhood supporters in a grassroots way, and that's the way that it should be done. But 2, I also want to see and hear from residents, and I'm hoping that the messages that I've heard here over the years is something that truly is something that continues to resonate, that there is indeed strong support in this community for a neighborhood public school in the Milwaukee public school system. Thank you, and I look forward to hearing the rest of. By the way, I do want to mention, because I don't know if it's on the agenda here, and correct me if I'm wrong here, we have 3 representatives. I know that the area representative from Milwaukee Public Schools, Jeff Spence, is going to be coming up and offering a few words here momentarily. But we also have School Board Director Larry Miller and School Board Director Annie Woodward here, in addition to, are we missing someone else here too? Oh, thank you, and Director Megan Holman as well too. And we're also blessed to have our superintendent, Dr. Gregory Thornton, here tonight, along with the regional director, Keith Posley. We want to thank them and other representatives from the MPS administration who took their time this evening to hear the community, to hear your thoughts, your desires, and thank you again for coming tonight here as well. And now I will turn it over to my colleague,
Well, good evening. I'm Alderman Michael Murphy, and I'm very pleased to be here with you this evening. Let me begin by saying thank you to Dr. Thornton, who agreed to be here this evening to listen to the concerns of both parents, teachers, who are very committed to this city and committed to this neighborhood. I'll try not to be repetitive, but as Alderman Bull indicated, this is a grassroots support. I want to give really kudos to Elizabeth Witt, who's an Enderis Park parent and also an MPS mom, and is committed to our city. And she took it upon herself to contact me, Alderman Bull, made sure that we knew about the concerns of the neighborhood with the issue of 68th Street School potentially being closed. And what a wonderful program that is offered at 68th Street School. I think we tend to see too much negative stories about Milwaukee Public Schools, and of course, here's a good story. Where's the campus? There isn't a campus. You know, we have a great success story here. Dr. Thornton and school board directors need to hear the good messages, and the message is people love the program at 68th Street School. They love their teachers. They love the education the children are receiving, and they're committed to wanting to see a program like that stay within our community and grow. And they're also committed to wanting to see a neighborhood school grow. And Alderman Bull and I had the pleasure of meeting with Dr. Thornton a week ago in his office, and we appreciate him sitting down with us. Need to express his support of neighborhood schools. He's indicated to both of us he's a strong supporter of neighborhood schools. I think the message tonight, no matter what is to end up at the side of it, is that we have a strong commitment of residents within these communities who want to see a viable school, a viable neighborhood school that has high academic performance, a place where their child can go, where they can get a good education, feel safe and secure, and do well in our community. I represent the area with Enderis Park East, Alameda neighborhood, and Enderis Park. I can tell you, the superintendent, that, and the school board directors, and I know Jeff Spence knows this is a very active neighborhood who is deeply committed when they move to this community for many, many reasons. One of which is their beautiful homes, incredible architectural value, but also the cohesiveness of the neighbors. People watch out for each other. They're committed to staying in our community, and we want to see it grow. When somebody needs their walk shoveled, an elderly woman, a neighbor comes over and takes care of that. What I've seen just walking for all these years that I've represented the area, I can tell you from what I hear and see from the neighbors, there's an issue. They're on top of it with me immediately. And that says a lot. Because unfortunately, there's too many neighborhoods in our city where things get passed by, people look the other way, they're not committed. This neighborhood, these neighborhoods are desperately committed to this city and this community. And I know the superintendent needs to hear that message. As we proceed into this discussion tonight, as Alderman Bull indicated, we do want some direction. And I think that's what the superintendent of the school